This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 11. Coverage you can count on.
Uncharted territory. Never seen nothing like it.
Tonight was sure to be a long recovery process for many, begins following Hurricane Nicole.
Our cameras caught several unbelievable moments, from a coastal road being badly damaged to homes collapsing and falling into the ocean.
I heard a loud crack, and that whole section of wall fell over.
Last night, we spotted a home showing signs of severe damage from Nicole as the storm was heading our way. By daybreak, we saw the aftermath as the home collapsed.
And now the seawalls are gone, and homes are falling in the ocean. It's very surreal.
And tonight we have team coverage as we get a better look at the destruction left behind by Hurricane Nicole, while Central Florida begins recovery efforts.
Just amazing pictures. Needless to say, from that video, Hurricane Nicole, as you know, left a lasting mark on several parts of our coast. Good evening, I'm Greg Warmoth.
And good evening, I'm Martha Sigalski. Tonight, many people are just starting to try and figure out where to begin the cleanup and recovery process after such a devastating storm. We have team coverage tonight for you of some of the most severe destruction left behind by Nicole. Christopher Heath is standing by in New Smyrna Beach. Jeff Deal is in Cocoa Beach with a look at the damage there, Greg.
Well, let's start with Shannon Butler, who's live in Wilbur-by-the-Sea, where she was last night throughout the storm. And folks there actually witnessed their homes collapse into the ocean.
Yeah, well, we were here last night with you, Martha and Greg. We watched as one of those homes, the conditions started to deteriorate, and then so did that house. But then when daylight came, we took a look, and that was not the only house that suffered the same fate. Take a look behind me. This is just one of many of the homes that have toppled into the ocean. You can see there to the right, that is a seawall. Look at just how much of the sand has been taken away by that strong surf and those strong winds. We are told that after Hurricane Ian, the erosion went about halfway. They think maybe 30 more feet was taken out by this storm. This is devastating to see in Wilbur-by-the-Sea, and there is no clue, at least at this point, when these people will be able to come home.
It's horrifying. It's horrifying. There's so many houses already in the drink.
Mike McGinley has lived here 30 years and has never seen anything like this. There's no way you could have thought these houses would fall in.
Never, never. I would have never guessed it. I've seen a lot of really bad storms, and I've seen the beach disappear 2 or 3 times since I've lived here. It's never breached seawalls like this before, never.
Houses like his neighbors. This $1 million plus home was here yesterday, but is now toppled into the sea. He says after Hurricane Ian, some of the seawalls were built just in case of another storm, but those walls were no match for back-to-back storms.
He had a temporary seawall built, and it was really shored up, really nice with wood and, really structurally sound looking. I don't think it lasted an hour. There was like no evidence of it even existing.
And that's the story all along A1A and Wilbur-by-the-Sea. Concrete has crumbled, pools melted into the ocean. And look at this. The sand washed away underneath this home. A gap now so big you could park a bus under it. Dozens of structures looking just like this, all now deemed unsafe. Now take a look at this walkway that we are standing near. This is what most of the walkways in Wilbur-by-the-Sea looks like. They were hit by Hurricane Ian. Now this storm, you can see, just crumbled. There is millions and millions of dollars worth of damage here, not just private property, but also public property. This will be a long, long road to recovery. Now, as for tonight and early into tomorrow morning, there is still a curfew in Volusia County. Deputies are very serious about keeping people at home while they still go around and assess the damage. And again, we still don't know just how much damage, more damage could be done as the high tide comes in and out over the next 24 hours. We're live in Wilbur-by-the-Sea. Shannon Butler, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Homes broken into, entire condominiums evacuated, and lives upended. New Smyrna Beach was hammered by Hurricane Ian 6 weeks ago, obliterating the sand dunes that had protected them. And when Nicole hit, there was no protection. Channel 9's Christopher Heath is live in New Smyrna Beach. And Chris, the devastation is just so widespread.
It absolutely is, Martha, and it's not just the homes and the condominiums. I mean, this is a public beach access, and it is closed due to storm damage. And I want you to take a look. Of course, high tide has come in, and you can really see the water down there churning. That's about a 15 to 20-foot drop. The staircase that had been there, it's gone. The concrete that had been holding this up, broken into the sand, washed away. Just a slight indication of the power that this storm had when it came ashore and devastated New Smyrna Beach. By the time the sun rose and the worst of Hurricane Nicole had passed, residents emerged to see just what the storm had left behind.
We got a text that the deck was gone, and then, it wasn't good, so we drove over this morning as soon as the bridges opened.
Joel Blake's home was still standing, but the sand holding the foundation was gone. He quickly went to buy concrete blocks and lumber to try and support the structure, but it was already too late.
A couple hours ago, you could hear it cracking, and then it just went in.
All of these homes had been protected by sand dunes up until 6 weeks ago. However, Hurricane Ian erased the dunes, and in doing so, any measure of protection. Just up the beach is this condo complex, and if you follow me, you'll see the seawall. It started to go last night as the waves came crashing in. By the morning, the drains had started to fail. By mid-afternoon, residents were told they needed to evacuate.
Distant bomb. It was the boom and the bang, and it was loud with like buckets of water being doused on you.
Cassandra Everett has lived here for 18 years. She rode out the storm with her husband. Now they must evacuate. The building is potentially unsafe.
It's unsettling. My husband's older, so it does make a difference. It's very uncomfortable, but we're fortunate we have options.
Options for so many out here mean leaving and wondering when or if they can come back. And when we talk about the sand dunes, we often talk about what they mean for us, for humans, but the sand dunes are also part of the ecosystem out here. They're home for all sorts of insects and animals. Those sand dunes are gone. Those animals, those insects, they've lost their homes as well. This ecosystem has been devastated by this hurricane. Reporting from New Smyrna Beach, Christopher Heath, Channel 9, Eyewitness News.
And hundreds of people had to be evacuated in Daytona Beach shores after city leaders deemed several hotels and condos unsafe. There's more than a dozen buildings east of A1A that the city says are just no longer safe. Many of those buildings have had seawalls that are collapsed or compromised. Some people who were forced out are unsure what they will do.
I'm out. I want to go home. I want to go back to Kentucky.
Leaders are asking people to be patient so these buildings can be cleared and reopened. In total, Volusia County's emergency management officials have deemed at least 49 beachfront buildings unsafe due to damage from Nicole. That includes 24 hotels and condos, all of which are along South Atlantic Avenue in Daytona Beach. Along with that, another 25 single-family homes in Wilbur-by-the-Sea were also declared structurally unsafe, Greg.
And Martha, just to the south of there in Brevard County, we saw some of the highest wind speeds as Hurricane Nicole hit Florida, and that brought some damage like this along with it, but many people feel fortunate that it wasn't worse. Channel 9's Jeff Deal is live in Cocoa Beach for us again tonight. Jeff, some of the damage came after the main part of the storm had already passed through the area.
Yeah, well after. It's interesting. I'm standing in front of a restaurant right now that used to be a gas station, and it had one of those covers that we all drive under if we need to pump gas. Well, take a look at that thing now. You can see it down here on the ground, just a massive structure out here, and it was just after 8 this morning when that came crashing down here right in the middle of this parking lot.
As Hurricane Nicole battered the coast, we saw sideways rain as fierce wind whipped out on A1A in Cocoa Beach. But as the sun came up in this part of Brevard County for many, including the owner of 4th Street Filling Station, Daniel Todd, there was reason for optimism.
Canopy was still up, some gates were broken, trees are down, normal storm stuff.
But Nicole wasn't done yet, despite the main storm well out of the way. Late in the morning, the massive overhang left over from the gas station that used to be on this property crashed to the ground.
It's crazy. Just good thing we weren't here and nobody else was here.
Over on Merritt Island, an awning blew off a building over the top of that building and into some power lines on the other side. We saw a damaged park sign, lines down, and debris and yard waste lining the roads in Brevard County. Winds ripped shingles off a roof and threw them everywhere.
Some shingles, it was in my yard, all down the road, past the next house.
Ralph Adkins told us his neighbor just had the roof repaired 2 weeks ago after it was damaged by Ian. But folks here know these kinds of problems.
Is it broken? Is it broken?
Pale in comparison to others hit harder by Hurricane Nicole.
Could have been worse. Luckily, nobody got hurt. Takes away some parking. It's unfortunate. It's definitely not ideal.
And as he said, taking away some parking spots, and they're not really able to use some of their outdoor seating out here. But the good news is they did have power today. They were able to get the restaurant back open, and they looked like they had quite a few customers in here already tonight. And reporting live in Cocoa Beach, Jeff Deal, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Right now, tens of thousands of people remain in the dark. Here's a look at the remaining outages caused by Hurricane Nicole. OUC has more than 3,000 customers without power. Duke is reporting more than 15,000 customers in the dark, and FPL says it's working to restore power to more than 46,000 of its customers. Thankfully, Nicole is out of our area tonight. Everything is quiet with no strong winds or rains in our area.
What a difference a day makes. Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry back with us in Severe Weather Center 9. Tom, things are much different compared to this time yesterday, but the storm is still what? Close and still impacting some folks in Florida?
That's right. Yeah, the northern parts of the Panhandle, Tallahassee, still kind of squally. They know there's a tropical depression nearby and a very large storm right now, still on our weather map. It is stretching with showers off the coast of Tampa all the way in towards Charlotte to North Carolina. It was raining on the football game up there tonight. You can see the storm moving north. Just a few clouds, maybe a sprinkle or two tonight and again tomorrow. We're kind of on the tail end of some of these showers coming in on the south side of the storm, but some of the higher wind speeds, Daytona Beach 84 miles an hour. We had a couple reports of winds up to 88, even close to 100. That was at the Artemis launch site, pad 39B. Melbourne just shy of hurricane force wind gusts there. That's why that hurricane warning was in effect. Now I'm taking a look at the rising levels along the St. Johns River, and they're going to go up about 6 inches, but that may make for some big problems down the road. Martha?
All right, thanks, Tom. Hurricane Nicole also left a lasting mark on a section of A1A.
And this is not the first time the coastal road took a beating during a hurricane.
I feel sad that we're losing A1A and the whole coastline is changing.
The plans ahead to get things back to normal sooner than later. Plus, tragic news out of Orange County tonight following Nicole. A danger many people forget about in the midst of a powerful storm, electrified power lines.
As we continue to see the devastating impacts of Nicole.
This home has caved into the ocean. It is just unbelievable.
Stay with Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Uncharted territory. Never seen nothing like it.
Taking you live to the scenes most impacted.
This is a vantage point you won't see anywhere else.
Keeping you updated and informed on air and online.
And homes are falling in the ocean. It's very surreal.
Channel 9 Eyewitness News. Severe weather coverage you can count on.
In Orange County, deputies are investigating 2 storm-related deaths. 2 people were electrocuted in the Conway community by a downed power line. It happened at the intersection of Bayfront Park and Pershing Avenue. Channel 9's Ashley Edlin talked to neighbors there today.
Some neighbors here tell me they saw what happened and they're traumatized. There's still crime scene tape up here at the intersection where it happened. Neighbors too traumatized to go on camera with us say right here at this intersection, a man was electrocuted by a power line, knocked down by Hurricane Nicole. Orange County deputies on scene around 9 a.m. told us it happened when the man left his car and came in contact with the downed line. They say a woman was also electrocuted. Both died. A baby that was in the back seat, okay, and was taken to the hospital to get checked out. Deputies haven't said why the man left the car, how the woman came in contact with the line, or given any details about who the 2 people are. Those neighbors not ready to talk on camera say they saw what happened and it was heartbreaking. Deputies also haven't said if the 2 live in the neighborhood. Neighbors say, though, they haven't seen them around. Now, we saw transformers in this area exploding throughout the day. Many neighbors told us they spent the day in the dark. Now, Orange County deputies are telling everyone if you see a downed power line, do not touch it. Call 911 right away. Reporting in Orange County, Ashley Edlin, Channel 9, Eyewitness News.
And 2 other people died in a car crash on Florida's Turnpike during Nicole. Right now, their deaths are considered probable storm-related by county officials. We're still waiting on official confirmation.
And meantime, we're getting a word tonight on another storm-related death in Cocoa. Police say 68-year-old Thomas Whittle died following an attempted rescue at Lee Winter Park. Now, according to investigators, you see the boat behind me. Whittle and his wife were docked here on their yacht, and you can see the water, just how rough it was. First responders say they received a distress call from his wife around 4:30 this morning, saying her husband was having a heart attack. Firefighters were able to get Whittle off the boat, even though police say the vessel actually broke loose while they were on board. Whittle was taken to the hospital, but he did not survive.
NASA officials say crews are assessing damage done to the Artemis spacecraft. NASA did not roll back the Orion capsule and SLS rocket ahead of Hurricane Nicole. The spacecraft can withstand 85-mile-per-hour winds. However, NASA said they detected peak wind gusts up to 82 miles per hour during the storm. They say so far they've only seen minor damage like loose caulk and tears in weather coverings. They plan to do closer inspections soon. Tom Terry joining us right now, and all is quiet.
Very quiet.
Which is good.
Yeah, it was hurricane status last night. We stayed on well past 4 a.m. and hopefully you made it through the storm fine. But boy, the impacts after Ian were just extreme, and even this storm took out a lot of additional beach. And boy, the dunes you kind of take for granted, they're just kind of there. But boy, they sure do have a purpose.
Reason, yeah.
They do. Here's what's going on tonight. Yeah, pretty quiet here. Light south wind. It's still a little bit on the pleasantly tropical side of this storm. 72 degrees. Nicole moving out now, a tropical depression based on the fact that the winds have now dropped below 39 miles per hour. But a big rain system continues to lift to the north and will go all the way through the northeast and accelerate as it does so. We still have a couple of sprinkles. There's still a large kind of a tail of moisture back behind this. And fortunately, we talked about this during the lead up to the storm making landfall, there was some dry air that mixed into the storm that kind of prevented it from getting any stronger than it did, and also kind of helped to shut the rain off fairly quickly once it made landfall. But we're still leaving behind a high surf advisory, and the beach is really going to take some time to get back to its former self here. The wave heights are certainly going to come way down. One of the reasons, obviously, the storm is no longer out there generating waves, but we're starting to blow the winds against the waves, which kind of tends to flatten them back out as we head from Friday through the upcoming weekend. We expected to have between 4 and about 8 inches of rainfall. Again, the dry air kind of mitigated some of the higher totals, but over the last 60 hours or so, we had some pockets over 6 inches of rainfall, just enough. Plus the fact that the winds were blowing against the flow of the St. Johns. They were blowing in at Jacksonville, and it kind of slowed down because the river's trying to flow north, but the waters were backing up. They even had some river surge farther north of Lake George. So from Astor through DeLand, they're expected to be at major flood stage. DeLand moving back from moderate to major. Bottom line is we were hopeful if we didn't get another storm that we might be able to get parts of the river below flood stage by Thanksgiving. But right now, it is so slow to recede. It looks like it'll be well into December, maybe early 2023 before we get the river back down. And again, that's assuming we don't have another big storm or front or something like that to dump more rain. We'll keep you posted. Right now, we're pretty quiet. This is Veterans Day over by the Citrus Tower in Claremont. Just a passing shower, but there is going to be kind of a tail of moisture back behind this storm, so we will still see a passing shower, but the offshore flow is welcome over the Melbourne Palm Bay area. Temperatures lower to middle 80s for tomorrow. Here's a look at the European forecast model, which did overall a pretty nice job with the storm track itself. Most of the models did a pretty good job this time. As it lifts to the north, we still have, again, a couple of showers for tomorrow. Saturday, that line of rain is right along with the north wind. A front that is going to scoot on by. Not as drastic as some of the cool air that came in behind Ian 6 weeks ago, but we will see a cooler day, a nice day on Saturday. Sunday also looks good. Early next week, we'll be watching back here to the west for another chance for some rain closer to the middle part of next week. Here is your 7-day forecast. We need Bring the volume down a little bit here in Mother Nature in our backyard. About 83 tomorrow and a happy Veterans Day. Passing showers, still a little bit on the breezy side, but very nice overall. 84 Saturday. There's that cool down for Sunday. Next week, Monday, Tuesday, back in the 80s, and another chance for rain midweek with another front. Martha.
All right, Tom, thanks so much. Well, we have some breaking news tonight about the ongoing student loan forgiveness plan. Tonight, a federal judge in Texas has blocked President Joe Biden's plan to provide millions of people up to $20,000 in student loan forgiveness. That program was already paused while a federal appeals court is considering a separate lawsuit by half a dozen states challenging it. The judge claimed that the program usurped Congress's power to make laws. Well, a section of A1A was washed away by Nicole. Next up at 11, what experts say will be needed to properly protect the highway from future storms. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Whether it's severe weather, whether it's hurricane coverage, it's just a matter of time that we're all going to be impacted in some way.
Central Florida's chief meteorologist, Tom Terry.
There's a lot going on here in Central Florida. Every storm is different. Every storm is unique. We do this year after year after year. How to get ready for a hurricane, how to prepare when a tornado comes through, what to do when these big hailstorms are rolling by. We have a very important role when it comes to public safety. This is why I do what I do and have for a long time.
Weather coverage you can count on.
Recovery measures underway for beaches in Volusia County, as we've shown you throughout the night. Residents say inland along the Halifax River's no picnic either. They are cleaning up what was left behind from the high tides and the flooding. The water level went up in Daytona Beach, extending a couple of blocks from the river. The surf and tides caused the flooding to run into the streets of downtown, and a business owner says that he's become used to this, but this actually is the worst he's seen.
Rebuild everything higher or do something better with the drainage. We're below sea level. The property's below sea level.
It's just how it is.
Yeah.
Mr. Bedard also says they are in a redevelopment zone and probably will relocate eventually when they buy him out.
Hurricane Nicole took quite a toll on A1A and Flagler Beach. As you can see, the coastal road was simply battered by Nicole. The scene is very similar to what we saw after Hurricane Matthew back in 2016. And high tide here tonight could make things even worse. Channel 9 traffic anchor Alexa Lorenzo spoke with emergency management about what's being done to try and fix this mess.
A1A and Flagler Beach.
What makes it so beautiful in good weather makes it extremely vulnerable in bad weather.
Unobstructed views means unprotected highway, and Nicole nailed this portion of A1A and Flagler, just below State Road 100 down to the Volusia County line.
Compare that to where we saw the impacts back in 2016.
That's the exact same area. It's that southern stretch of A1A.
But Jonathan Lord, the Flagler County Emergency Director, says it's a bit different now.
2016, we had a couple very large carve-outs. This one, we have more carve-outs, but they're smaller in smaller sections.
People are frustrated with it, but we understand it's just part of living near the ocean.
I feel sad that we're losing A1A and the whole coastline is changing.
For those who live here, there's no shock, just a lot of stress, knowing more of it could wash away.
And there literally are crews out there now loading sand up and protecting the roadway, so when we do hit the next high tide cycle, it doesn't get damaged further.
That's all temporary. Emergency repairs won't happen until conditions out there calm in the next day or so. The long-term fix will take tens of millions of dollars and lots of time, like back in 2016.
A year and a half, 2 years ago, it wasn't fully repaired and redone.
So what's next?
I don't have the answer. I don't sure if we have the answer yet.
To me, I don't see how we can just keep replacing the road every 4 or 5 years.
I'm assuming they're going to have to look at different ways of repairing it to maybe make it stronger in the future. But it's a risk.
Alexa Lorenzo, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
We're going to take your wake-up weather when we come right back.
This news segment is brought to you by Freedom Health Medicare Advantage Plans.
It's easy to see. It's Veterans Week on Wheels.
Grab those devices.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
They're good at following orders.
We have liftoff. Go!
Thanks for your service and thanks for being here.
Yes, sir.
Brought to you by Freedom Health Medicare Advantage Plans.
Central Florida's chief meteorologist, Tom Terry, on Channel 9.
Doppler 9 radar is driven by Toyota of Orlando and Toyota of Claremont.
Boy, this was a replicate of 2004, 43 days apart, and we saw the same sort of path.
That's right. Mother Nature can be very consistent, and we're going to be watching what's left of Nicole lifting up through northern Georgia by tomorrow, and still bringing an isolated shower. There's still a large tail behind the storm, and a little passing shower for Veterans Day, but I'll take this weather any day.
Yeah, we need that.
Any day, yeah. We all need to just chill out for a little bit.
Chillax for a while.
Keep your jacket on.
Yes.
Tommy.
Sleeves up, ties loose.
Please.
No more for a while, okay?
Yeah. That's it.
Tap out.
That's it.
All right.
Thanks for
have a
watching.
Good night. Happy Veterans Day tomorrow.
Good night.
Watch Eyewitness News from any device with Eyewitness News Livestream, presented by Bogan Munz & Munz. Choose results. Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
Get updated video forecasts. Download the free Channel 9 weather app.
In the market for a luxury vehicle? Visit us today at lexusofwinterpark.com.